Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox back again for another episode of the award-winning Texas Hill Country Artist Podcast. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to have with us Lanza Teague. Lanza, first of all, welcome and thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us
Well,
today.
thanks for inviting me over. I appreciate it.
What's your current role?
I am the executive director of the Kerr Arts and Cultural Center, and we're downtown Kerrville.
You're a Hill Country girl.
I
Can you
am.
tell us about that.
Okay. My family came to Kerr County in 1890, and they settled between Ingram and Hunt. And where Casita Blue is now, that camp that's right there at Waltonia Crossing, that was where my family settled. And I grew up hearing stories about the history of Kerr County, how my ancestors would had to hide in a cave on the riverbank when the natives were close. So I was real fascinated with the history of the area and was so happy when my mom brought us back to Kerr County in my high school years because I've always felt a kinship for here. We lived in the Midwest for a period of time, and it really, even though I've spent every summer here visiting grandparents. I had a grandmother in San Antonio and another one here in Kerrville. I always felt like I was leaving home when we'd go back to wherever it was we were living. My dad was in advertising, so they move like the military does. And when we got the opportunity to come back, it was like coming home. And I graduated from Ingram Tom Moore High School and worked here for several years, went to Austin, lived there for a while. When the tech industry crashed, I did the crazy thing and people run off and join the circus. I ran off and joined the Renaissance Fair and was involved with Renaissance fairs for a few years. And then after lived in the Houston area and after some hurricanes and a gas rupture, I was like, I know better than this. And I came back home to the country. And when I came back, it was to work at the Arts and Cultural Center. And that's pretty much been my professional home. I was there from 2007 to 2014 and left and went to another 501c. I worked at the Hill Country Arts Foundation for a while and loved working there. It was a lot more hours. And I did everything from costuming to managing the gift shop and managing volunteers. And when the opportunity came up to come back and serve as director of the Art Center, I went back because I really love the people who are involved there. I really enjoyed that's the center's mission. And when I came back in 2019, I felt it really needed me to come back because the organization had stagnated a little bit and had lost sight of its mission. And I was there when it was a real vibrant and thriving art center and been working really hard to get it back on the map. And I think we're there now. We've got we show every month we have 3 new exhibits pretty much. And we're known for our furniture show and the gourd show, which is going on right now. But you're kind of like the local clubhouse for local artists. If you're an artist of any level of ability, we welcome you in our membership. You have opportunities to learn more about the art, the media you choose. You can network with other artists. We have the Kerrville Art Club, the Guadalupe Watercolor Group, the Hill Country Camera Club, and several other arts organizations or artist groups that meet at KACC either on a weekly or a monthly basis. And it's just a fun place to be and create.
What's the mission of the Kerrville Arts and Cultural Center?
I don't have the mission right in front of me, but generally we serve as a bridge between the local artists and the community to give them a place to show and sell their work. And we also want to enrich the cultural life of the Hill Country. So we have some cultural programs that we offer from time to time as well.
Tell us about where you're physically located.
We are located at the corner of Main and Earl Garrett Streets. If you are familiar with downtown Kerrville, it's where the heart sculpture, the James Avery Harp sculpture is. That's in our front yard. And we are in the historic post office building.
Okay. One of the things that has struck me is two things really, the vibrancy of the local art scene here in Kerr County, Kerrville, and the Hill Country. And specifically to the KACC is the breadth and scope of the exhibits you have.
Yes.
We were talking a little bit earlier, all the way from, painting to gourds to furniture to clothing to ironworking to woodworking
Mhm.
and probably everything in between. Could you talk to us really about both of those, the vibrancy of the local
Yes.
art scene and then how you're able to incorporate that into
Well,
the vibrancy of your exhibits?
yeah, Kerrville and Kerr County seems to be a magnet for people who are talented in either the visual or the performing arts. I've worked in both theater and in gallery spaces, and it amazes me the level of talent and the amount of talent that's here in this area. And the paintings, it's amazing when you talk to somebody and somebody hasn't started painting until late in life. They retired, they came to Kerrville because it's a quality place to live. The pace is a little slower than the cities, and they get to explore their artistic side. And so they take a class, and before you know it, they're exhibiting on their art on the walls at KACC. Our shows are generally run for a month, and we have 3 exhibits going on at the same time, with the exception of when we have the furniture show, and the furniture show takes up all 3 gallery spaces. And that is not just local furniture makers, it's furniture makers from all over the state. It's kind of a badge of honor to to pass the jury to actually get into the show. You have to be a certain quality furniture maker in order to be in the show in the first place. And so it's become kind of a benchmark exhibit for a lot of the furniture makers in the state. Our other big exhibit, which is going on right now, is the Southwest Gourd and Fiber Fine Art Show. And that will be running in the center until June 29th. And it's amazing to me what you can do with a gourd. The fiber arts are amazing too. They take your breath away. But when you think about a gourd, which is essentially a relative of the pumpkin, that you can sit out somewhere and it'll dry and it'll have a hard shell that will last for decades. And somebody can turn that into a piece of fine art. And it's amazing. Even right now, I think because shipping is so expensive, we didn't have as many artists enter this year. But even now, with a smaller show than what we normally have, it's amazing to see the variety of the art and what somebody will do. One person, one of our gourd artists who's been showing for years, she's an 82-year-old woman. She always ends up placing in the top 3. And she brought in this piece that the judges that we have for the gourd show, they've judged for several years, the exhibit. And they think they know pretty much who does what, because even before they ran a gallery and they worked with some of the gourd artists through their gallery, some of the same people that are showing at the art center right now. They always think they know, oh yeah, that's so and so's work and this is so and so's, but this lady always throws them a curveball, and she got second place this year with this really just adorable gourd that she found a giant zipper on a punk rocker's website. You get stuff for your clothing and things. She put this giant zipper on the opening of the gourd, like the gourd is unzipping. And then there were these little eggs on the inside and 3 lizards. So there's one lizard that is opening the zipper with its mouth, and the other lizard is looking down into the gourd itself. And there's a little baby lizard hatching out. And she said she just got the giggles when she was making this piece. And it got to be one of my favorite pieces in the show this year, because you do see that mirth and joy within a gourd of all things. So that blows my mind. Also, what we have showing, it's not just the gourds and the fiber arts right now. We have 10 local artists who are showing together, and their exhibit's called Prima Facie. And we have sculpture, there's ironwork, like you were talking about. Doug Gary, who does a lot of ironwork, has a beautiful table that's in the galleries right now that has an iron base. Then we have assemblage art. There's collage and paintings. And Hildegard Slaughter, who is a local artist in her 90s, has encaustics, which are basically paintings that are done with wax rather than paint. And her work is amazing. And when you think, these are people who are still creating we have another artist in that same show, Mary Zirkle, who's really well known in the area and mostly for her bluebonnet paintings. She's still creating at 95 as well, and her paintings have never dulled or lost quality over the years. And then artists that you've talked to, Elaine Capers and some of the Monday painters have an exhibit up in the front, and there's some real beautiful gems of paintings in there. They're just horses standing in the snow, and I sold that one today. But there's a number of beautiful paintings in the small front gallery as well.
So you've talked at length about the artist part of the
Mhm.
KACC, but there's two, and part two is the community.
Yes.
So could you talk to us about what you think it means literally for the Kerrville and Kerr County and Hill Country community to have a place they can come in, they can see great art, they can meet the artists, they can
Yeah.
talk to the artists, they can personalize with the artist, perhaps buy a work, or at least get to know them, and really maybe the 8-year-old girl whose eyes just pop out
Oh, yeah.
and for the first time sees something and thinks maybe I could do that. Or
Absolutely.
talk
Yeah.
about the community part of the KCC.
We do offer a place where art needs the appreciator as much as it needs the artist. If the artist just keeps it under their bed and nobody gets to see it and enjoy it, we have a place where the artist can connect with the community. But it's more than just that. We offer camp for kids, which we'll be doing. You were talking about kids being artists. We have our art camp where we're giving kids a real um, background or basis in the visual arts, where they're learning different media, painting, sculpture, how to build a kaleidoscope, that sort of thing. And then they also have an opportunity to show. Once a year, we do our Hill Country Youth Art exhibit where kids who are both in the schools locally and in homeschools as well have an opportunity to show their work to the public. And so they get to show their work in a professional gallery, and it's a beautiful setting for it. And it's neat for the kids. You get to see them light up and show their parents, this is my painting on the wall. It's very cool. But we sometimes offer music among the arts where we get a performer who usually plays his music in a local bar room. We get him out of the bar room and get him in front of a more intimate setting where he gets to talk to people who are in the audience about their music and what draws them to something or why they love a particular piece more than others. We have a local musician who's played with the Dixie Chicks and a number of really well-known artists. He comes and plays on a regular basis and talks about his stories from the road, and some of them are pretty hysterical. So when we have the time in the schedule, we'll have somebody, we appeal to a different kind of audience because I think the more people who get to see us or get to come in and enjoy music and maybe see a painting that they love, it enriches their life because art does enrich our lives. We're not happy with just a blank wall. We want to put something that speaks to us on that wall and maybe inspire us to do a little bit of art on our own.
Tell us about the hours of the KCC, what you have there on a regular basis. You always have staff there.
Yep.
Somebody wants to drop in just to see what's going on.
We are open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We are looking at possibly extending our hours in the near future on Fridays and Saturdays so that we're open a little later. It seems like we're getting more with some of the restaurants downtown being open later. There's an opportunity there to reach some people we wouldn't normally get to reach with our normal hours. Our exhibits, like I said, change out once a month. The exhibits we have in there right now are going to be up until July 29th. And then we'll have 3 whole new exhibits come in. And you never know what you're going to find. It could be furniture. We've had kaleidoscopes shown this year. It could be paintings, could be abstract paintings. They're not always bluebonnets and windmills. There's something for everyone. And if you don't like one exhibit, come back the next month. You'll probably find something you like on our walls later.
Lanza, if someone wanted to check you guys out online, do you have a Facebook page or an
Yes.
Instagram account that they could check out?
We do. Our webpage is KACCKerrville.com. We are the Kerr Art Center on Instagram, I believe is what our tag is on that one. And we also have a Facebook presence. We have a Twitter page, but I don't get on Twitter enough to really, it's not Twitter anymore, it's X. And then but those are the social media platforms we're on right now. We're always looking for volunteers. If somebody wants to be a part of the art scene, we're always looking for volunteers, particularly on Fridays and Saturdays, to greet people as they come in. We are also looking for sponsors for the upcoming Outdoor Painters event, which is one of our big events. It's a week-long event in October where artists from all over the US come in to paint the landscapes and the buildings of Kerrville and Kerr County. So right now we are looking for artist hosts, so people who are willing to give up a guest bedroom, a guest house, an Airbnb place for a week in October so that the artists have a place to stay. Sometimes you get a free painting out of the deal. They're very low maintenance house guests as well. They come in and sleep. In the mornings they leave and they go out to paint. Then we're also looking for location hosts. So if you have a beautiful ranch, if you have an interesting house, if you have just acres of rusty trucks, we have a property that they love going to because it's got a lot of old trucks rusting in the field. If you have something that would be interesting to paint, pretty waterfront, whatever, we're looking for places to send the artists to. And then, of course, we're also looking for financial support on that event as well. So but that's a fun week, and I'm looking forward to that one. And we're always looking for people who want to partner with us in some way. So
This hopefully is going to be the first of many podcasts you're on.
great.
We can't wait to be able to help tell the story of the KACC and the artists in the community who join you guys. So I wanted to thank you again for taking the
Yeah,
time
thank
to
you.
visit with us today.
Yeah, I love KACC. I love where I work, and I could talk forever about it. It's where I belong, and I love the people involved as well. So, and
Great.
I feel it has an important mission in our community as well.
Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.